may be the most important half of the Giants season. Mike Nora's kick returned by Ron Dixon. Runs into the pack, and he's down at the 22-yard line. Looking at the halftime statistics.
Just kind of a situation you wouldn't have expected, the Dallas being successful on offense, but here's the key right here: the 4 turnovers by the New York Giants, and you know, maybe lucky to be at 24-7 having 4 turnovers, and the points off of that 21, an opportunity to get a little bit more at the end of that first half.
Well, and I've always felt that just because there are turnovers, that doesn't necessarily mean that those turnovers has to translate into touchdowns. In fact, the New York Giants had been one of the best in the league as far as not allowing points off of offensive turnovers, and here in this ball game they've given up 3 touchdowns off of those 4 offensive turnovers.
Injured player on the field is Tony Dixon, rookie from Alabama, a free safety, and they're working on him. And you saw the numbers on Kerry Collins. He has been under pressure all day and throwing those 2 interceptions resulting in scores. We'll take a timeout and we'll be back. And leaving for the Cowboy dressing room. So the Giants, after returning the second half kickoff at the 22-yard line, Tiki Barber is the tailback for the Giants. Play action on first down, and Collins going underneath to Barber, who's open, stumbling to first down yardage at the 34, with Marcus Steele, the linebacker, on the tackle.
Well, that's one of the things that they like to do with Tiki Barber. They love allowing him to get up through the line of scrimmage and sit down over the ball and get the ball in his hands and let him work one-on-one against a linebacker. And on that particular play, everyone had pretty much run out of there, and he was one-on-one with Marcus Steele. Nice play by them.
Giants just had 28 yards rushing in the first half. Ron Dane is back there now. First down at the 34, and Dane is going to lose about a yard. And Brandon Noble, and we have mentioned his name on several occasions in this game with the terrific play. He already has a sack and a loss.
Here's Brandon Noble right here. You watch him fight through the blocks and make the tackle. Actually, he's going to come from the other side. And he's a guy that, you know, he's been undersized. He's gone the long route to get into the NFL, and now he's got a starting position. Not the biggest guy statistically, but he's always at the bottoms of the pile, always making some good plays.
So Tiki Barber returns, replacing Dane, in the pitch going to Barber left. Leaps over a defender, and a good run by Tiki Barber. And he is out of bounds at about the 40-yard line. Steele again on the play. Gain of 7 that time. And that will bring up 3rd and short.
Yeah, I think one of the problems that this New York Giant offense faces is how they incorporate Tiki Barber along with Ron Dane. And Tiki's a guy, he's really their playmaker and the guy who they have to get the ball in his hands and let him do things with. But on the other hand, Ron Dane is a guy who gets better with more carries that he gets, and it's just hard to give each of them the number of carries that they both need to be successful.
On 3rd and 4, Barber stays in, and Kerry Collins going underneath, and that was nearly intercepted as Collins at the last minute tried to get it to Barber, and that win very nearly found the ball in his hands. So the Giants will have to kick.
And that all started right here with Greg Ellis. He's beaten Ron Stone quick a couple times today. You'll see right there, just a real quick thing. He gets up, forces Kerry to step up, and now the whole play is broken down. Everybody's just trying to ad-lib. That win, almost an opportunity for an easy interception.
Cowboys have already returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns. So Rodney Williams, who has had a big day punting, and adds to that as Reggie Swinton down the sideline. Reggie Swinton found a lane, and Rodney Williams knocks him out of bounds for a 53-yard kick, and Swinton brings about 28 yards back. Cowboys lead, and they've got it at the 35. Rugged afternoon for Kerry Collins and the Giants in a 24-7 hole, and the Dallas Cowboys, who, if they win today and the Eagles lose in Arizona later, the Cowboys would move into a tie for first place in the NFC East. 1st and 10 at the 35 for Clint Stoerner, and he gives to Troy Hambrick. And Hambrick stopped for no gain by Ross Kalaje.
Well, one of the ingredients for Dallas's success is good special teams play, and we'll see right here with Pat Dennis and Lynn Scott working on Dwayne Patman. Rodney Williams is having a good day kicking the ball today, but right here you see the effort that's given by these guys. It allows Reggie Swinton to get the big return, really get them out of a hole with bad field position down in their end all the way out to the 35, and that's what this team has to do. They have to play great defense. They have to have some contribution from their special teams, and offensively just make plays when they have the opportunity.
2nd and 10 at the 35, and that all adds up to Joe Avezzano. Here is Stoerner rolling out, and Stoerner's pass on the comeback, and it is caught for the first down in Giant territory by Joey Galloway. A gain of 16, and this crowd expressing their frustration.
Well, they're doing pretty much what they want so far. And Clint Stoerner, they were worried about the pressure by the New York Giants defensive front. And so they want to have the ability to get Clint Stoerner out on the corner and let him run away from the pressure. He's able to there. And then you got Joey Galloway working against Willie Peterson. And Joey Galloway is not 100%. He's banged up. You see him right there. It looks like he might have pulled something there. But he came into the game with a hurt ankle. And something's wrong with him now there.
Reggie Swinton, the return player who came back from injury, has replaced him. Here is Hambrick, and Hambrick with a great run, and he's got a little bit of a juke in him as well, and Hambrick gaining 16 yards and a first down inside the 35. So back-to-back 16-yard plays, and Hambrick gingerly running back to the huddle, and he'll come out.
Watch Larry Allen right here, your big guard getting out and getting around the corner, and it's very intimidating to see this guy out in space and the way he moves to be a linebacker or a safety. And at the end of the run, this is something that Dallas can just not afford, to have Troy Hambrick come up a little bit gimpy, because they've activated Tony Taylor from the practice squad today, but boy, they would be down deep in the running back position.
65 yards on 20 carries for Hambrick, and Michael Wiley getting his first carry and showing a little burst of speed going outside. Wiley getting 5 yards before Jason Sehorn makes the tackle. So a good gain on first down by Wiley.
Well, and Wiley's a back who he primarily only plays on third down situations. He's become a good blocker. He was a rookie last season and went through his rookie growing pains and struggles. And this year he's become a productive player and a role player, and someone who he knows exactly where he fits within this offense. And now they've got him in here on some first and second down situations.
Emmitt Smith taking the day off with the knee sprain. Joey Galloway back in the lineup. Stoerner's pass up the middle, and it is incomplete. Galloway was the intended receiver. Will Peterson on the coverage, and a flag is down, and the penalty will be pass interference against the Giants, and that is the preliminary sign.
Well, you take a look. Joey Galloway, he's going to run the skinny.
24 defense. That's the first down.
He's going to run the skinny post, and Willie Peterson just gets there a little bit early. And I can tell you right now, if you've got Joey Galloway working one-on-one on Willie Peterson, that is an absolute mismatch. You've got a guy who's probably the fastest wide receiver in the game going up against a rookie. And to me, I don't know how the Giant coaches can expect Willie Peterson to cover him one-on-one.
And Peterson replaced Will Allen, who was beaten by Joey Galloway in the first quarter. First and goal after the 25-yard penalty, and Troy Hambrick maybe a yard in the middle of the pack. So here the Cowboys are again threatening to add to their lead here in this third quarter with 9.5 to play. That was Michael Myers, who went in as an eligible tight end, and now he comes out of the game, so he had to report, and he did.
Yeah, and you don't often see defensive tackles going in motion in the offensive backfield and lead blocking, but the situation here, Dallas, the tight end fullback area, because of all the changes in personnel, they're looking for some different alternatives to use in situations.
Cowboys will use a timeout here. Campo has a 24-7 lead. Lost to Washington, and the Giants are 3-4, half a game behind the Eagles. And the Giants already have as many losses this year as they did all of last season. So following the Cowboy timeout, it is second and goal at the 5. Here's the rollout. Stoerner looking for a receiver, and Stoerner and it hit the crossbar. It was intended for Jackie Harris. And the pass, which you would have thought might be thrown totally out of the end zone, hit the crossbar. So we'll have a 3rd and 5.
Well, it was a nice job by Clint Stoerner just buying himself some time with Michael Strahan chasing him. And he actually was throwing it away. But at the last minute, I think he saw that he actually had a shot at Jackie Harris on the end line and still delivered the ball a little too high outside of Jackie Harris's reach.
So the Cowboys once today stymied inside the 20, had to settle for a field goal. Now it is 3rd and goal from the 5, and Stoerner with the bullet pass to Harris and the touchdown. And a flag is down. Penalty marker down.
Looks like they may have some kind of pick.
Cowboys upset, and I think you're absolutely right. Bernie Kukar, and they're going to call the offensive pass interference, which draws the ire of Dave Campo, the head coach.
Pass interference, number 81 offense. That's a 10-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
So Rocket Ismail on the penalty, so a 10-yard walk-off.
You see Rocket right here. He's coming across, and he collisions Mike Barrow. Mike Barrow was going to be the one who was going over to cover Jackie Harris. Whether it was intentional or not, you can't run into a defensive player like that and pick him.
So it is still 3rd down, but now it's 3rd and goal at the 15 for the Cowboys, who have 3 wideouts. And Stoerner having to get rid of it, and the pass. Let's see if Peterson picked it off, and apparently he did. An interception by Will Peterson, and the Giants escape that one and will get the ball back on the 20-yard line.
Well, what started that, Dick, was the pressure from Kenny Holmes right off the corner here. He's going to come off the edge unblocked, makes Clint Stoerner deliver it early, and then you got Willie Peterson on the other end of it, who's going to lay out and make a really nice play on this football. And those are the kind of plays that you have to make if you're going to give yourself a chance to get back in a ball game that you're trailing by 17 points.
So the Cowboys got also close. They had 2nd and goal at the 5-yard line, and now they're at the 20, and Kerry Collins under some pressure, and he gets it out to Ron Dane as a receiver. Dane stays in bounds and winds up at the 42. So Ron Dane gets another 20 yards that he should have gotten. And the Giants are 1st down at the 42-yard line.
Well, you need to tackle guys. You don't come up and just put a big hit on guys. Guys in the NFL have tremendous balance and tremendous agility. And you'll see right here, Ron Dane breaks the first tackle. You got to wrap him up. Don't come up and just put a big hit on a guy like that, especially somebody like Ron Dane. And that win right now, hit him and wrap him up. Don't just put a big hit on him.
1st down at the 41 for the Giants with 8:15 to go in the 3rd on play action. And again, they go to Dane out of the backfield, and Dane getting close to the 1st down as we check in for a Fox game break with James Brown.
Hey, Dick.
You know, this may break the mold as neither of the contenders have won on the road in the NFC Central.
Well, it looks like they're having nice weather there in Green Bay, which may have something to do with the success Tampa's experiencing.
Good point. 2nd and 1. Dane driving forward, getting the 1st down to the 46. Pepe Zellner making the tackle. So the Giants trailing by 17 points. Looked like they were going to narrow that gap, and then the interception and return for a touchdown by Mario Edwards, 71 yards. Again, gave them the 17-point lead. Game 7 of the World Series right here on Fox. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Brought to you by Budweiser. And here is Tiki Barber. And Barber knocking into Lomas Brown, blocking in front of him, picks up 6 yards nonetheless. Noble on the stop.
Yeah, and they had the right call there, Dick. They on the one end, they've got George Teague, the safety for the Dallas Cowboys, and linebacker Marcus Steele coming on one side. They were able to run the counter back away from it, which gave Tiki Barber some room to run and able to pick up a nice gain.
Well, Barber and Dane, Thunder and Lightning, 33 yards, a season low, and they've upped that by 11 yards. Still running despite the deficit. And there's Collins to Barber underneath, gets the first down to the 34. Marcus Steele on the tackle, so this seems to be the crispest Giant offensive foray of the afternoon.
Well, and one of the reasons for that, I believe, is that one, they've been able to get the ball to Tiki Barber. They've been able to run him, which is something that obviously they're very comfortable with. And the other thing is that Kerry Collins has been able to get the ball into Tiki Barber's hands, and that's what Kerry likes to do over the ball. Get it to him quick, easy passes, and let him make yards with the football.
Two tight ends for the Giants. Again, play action, and Collins is going for wide open. Joe touchdown. So the combination of Kerry Collins and Joe Juravicius clicked for the second time today. That for 34 yards, and the Giants edge closer.
Well, Dallas tips their hat when they bring Darren Woodson with a linebacker. Here comes Darren after that. Good protection by Greg Camella and Tiki Barber.
And by the pressure, what it does is it puts Joe Juravicius on Dad Wynn, and Dad just cannot run with him, and he runs right by him. He gets no safety help by George Teagues, a mismatch, and they capitalize and get the touchdown.
And Morton Anderson for the extra point, and the kick is good. So with 5:45 remaining in the third quarter, the Giants trailing by 10 now, and Kerry Collins a perfect 4 for 4 on that drive. So the Cowboy lead is now 24-14. Remember, Dallas had a first and goal at the 5, heading for possibly 31-7. Instead, the Giants have narrowed it to 10, and Reggie Swinton returning the kickoff. Swinton's elusive, and this is a good return by the rookie, and he gets it back close to midfield. Emmanuel McDaniel will run him out of bounds. Swinton's return of 34.
Well, one of the things offensive coordinator Sean Payton knew was that they like to blitz these two guys, and so as a result, they thought they could get a shot down the field. Dad Wynn's going to try to run with Juravicius, but the guy here, George Teagues, should be helping out on that post route. You can see he's unable to, and it allows a lot of error for Kerry Collins to throw that football and score a touchdown.
So the Cowboys then faced after the pass interference with a 3rd and goal at the 15, came up empty, and the Giants with a new life. But the Cowboys with good field position, and Troy Hambrick getting about 6 yards on first down to the Giant 45, and Michael Strahan on the tackle. But this was a critical penalty on Rocket Ismail here, Troy.
Well, it was a big penalty, number one, because it nullifies the touchdown that they get. And then, so you don't get the touchdown, and then Clint Stoerner makes a bad decision in his throw, which keeps them from getting a field goal attempt. Giants go down and score at least a 10-point swing and more than 14-point swing if they don't have the penalty.
Jesse Armstead back on the field for the Giants at linebacker. 2nd and 4. Hambrick loses about 2.5 yards on the play, and now the Giants are inspired defensively, led by Mike Barrow.
Well, we talked about it. In fact, Daryl talked about it at the beginning of the game, and what the Giants have been unable to do, even though they've had a good defensive season, is they've been unable to stop people when they've had to do it. They couldn't do it against the St. Louis Rams, they couldn't do it against the Eagles, and they couldn't do it last week before the half. They have to stop them here if they're going to be the defense that everybody wants them to be.
Third down and 7 for Clint Stoerner, and the pass to Galloway, and it is ruled a catch. Galloway makes the reception at the 25-yard line. A critical 3rd down conversion for the Cowboys to the Giant 25, a gain of 23.
I still don't know why the New York Giants do not want to blitz. They're not getting the pressure with their front 4. Michael Strahan goes inside. They do a great job of passing the game. Mark Stepnowski coming over to help out on the twist. They need to get pressure on Clint Stoerner. They're not doing it with just their front 4.
And there may be a challenge coming up right here as to whether it was trapped or caught. Here's a first view.
It looks like he got underneath, and then at that point right there, you can't really tell. So we'll see some other angles as they roll up.
New York is challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
Now the question is, does he have possession of it?
Well, I thought based on Joey Galloway's reaction after they signaled that he caught it, I thought his reaction was such that he didn't think that he actually had. And here, I don't know that it's going to be conclusive in order for them to show that he did not catch it. But there have been a couple angles that we've seen here. This one right here, where it looks like the ball may have, in fact, touched the ground.
Well, on the other
arms
side,
are not under the ball right there.
well, see that one right there. There's the arm you need right there, the left arm. Because when you come from that backside, you cannot see Joey Galloway's right arm. From the one angle, it looks like he gets it under. From another angle, you might not be so sure. That one right there is.
I'm not sure.
And then his helmet comes down
like
and really
it's going
block out
down
the.
I don't know that there's enough there. I think that's one of those situations that whatever the official had called is going to be what it winds up being. I don't know that there's enough there that they can overturn that call and say that it's inconclusive.
But it was interesting your thought about the body language of Joey Galloway when he got up and how his natural reaction was that perhaps he didn't have it.
Jump up, celebrate, do a good sell job.
Giants challenged in the first half and lost that one, charged with a timeout. And of course, if this one is upheld, they will not be charged with a timeout. But if it is a reception, it'll be a double whammy, because that means the Cowboys will have a first down inside the 25 of the Giants, and Jim Fossil's New Yorkers will be charged with one of what would be 3 valuable timeouts in this half.
Well, and you know what, I'd go a step further as far as what Daryl said, and that is, you know, forget whether or not this guy caught the ball or he didn't catch the ball. I think you go before that, and Clint Stoerner had all day to sit back there and throw the football. And when you're talking about a guy who is making his second NFL start, playing against one of the better defensive football teams in this league that's able to put pressure on the quarterback, and yet they've allowed him to sit back there and not be pressured, I don't know how you do that.
That's the way the game started out, Moose. The Giants let Stoerner get some confidence, get plenty of time, and they moved out to a good, healthy lead.
Well, talking with John Fox, the defensive coordinator, one of the things that he was very impressed by was the physical play of the Dallas offensive line. And it's one of the better groups in the NFL, maybe, you know, the top 3 offensive lines. And he's got great personnel in his secondary and his linebacking core to be able to create a blitz package. And I think it's a great game plan when you're playing Kurt Warner in the St. Louis Rams offense. But when you're playing Clint Stoerner and the Dallas Cowboys, who are struggling, I mean, the last thing you want to let them do is gain some confidence and get on a roll. And right now, that's what's happened with Clint.
Well, we're going to get the ruling from Bernie Kukar. And you'll hear boos or you'll hear cheers. And you won't even have to see Bernie or hear him.
As they're reviewing the play, there is not enough visual evidence to change the call towards a catch.
Tell you, Troy is getting very good at this. He's becoming very, very good at the replay.
I've learned over the years that when we've had plays challenged, when I played, I've learned that rarely do they ever overturn anything. You know, even when sometimes the evidence is pretty blatant.
And the Giants do not have a challenge left and only 2 timeouts remaining. And the way things are going for them, they're going to need all the timeouts they could use, down by 10. And the Cowboys connecting on 3rd and 7, have a first down on the 24. Troy Hambrick playing in place of the injured Emmitt Smith. Hambrick's first NFL start, picking up 3 yards. Brandon Short, the tackler.
Well, the times we have seen the Giants come up and move in with pressure, it seems like they're more run blitzes. They're trying to get people into certain holes. You know, from the film study they have, the tendencies that the Dallas offense has shown. And again, right there, you see Jesse Armstead and Michael Barrow, you know, coming up into the hole where the play is going. But this is a big physical offensive front. They get shoulder to shoulder. They get guys out of the way. I'd rather see them use the 3rd down and passing situations to generate their pressure.
2nd down and 7 at the 21. And Hambrick going in motion wide to the right, and the pass, Hambrick slipped once, slips again, and now he doesn't get out of the slip of Sean Williams, who tackles him at the 20-yard line, bringing up 3rd and about 6. So that the field, despite Pam Oliver's report of the Cowboys changing their footwear, obviously slowing them down still.
Well, there's no question that the field is extremely soft on the outside, and no one's going to get very good footing out there. And Troy Hambrick certainly didn't on that particular play. And
So Darren Cheverini and Reggie Swinton are wide receivers. 4 in all for the Cowboys. On 3rd down and 6. Stoerner going for Ismail in the end zone, and the pass is intercepted. Jason Sehorn, who was burned last week by the Washington Redskins in a critical touchdown, coming back to make the second Giant interception in the end zone here in the 3rd quarter, and the Giants get it back. Sehorn robbing Ismail, and it remains a 24-14 game. Here for Jason Sehorn on the left, Rocket Ismail on the right, denied of the touchdown. So the Giants getting back 1st and 10 at the 20. Play action. Kerry Collins, and Collins tries to get it out to Barber, who cannot hold on.
Well, we go back to the touchdown. Right here you got Rocket Ismail on Jason Sehorn. He's going to run a corner route. Clint Stoerner's late on the throw, and when he throws it, he's got to throw it to the corner there. He's not able to get it out, and Sehorn does a nice job of making up ground and getting the interception. And Sehorn's been beat a couple of times in some previous ball games. He has said himself that he's in somewhat of a slump. Does a nice job on that play and bringing it in.
6 turnovers in the game, and it's changed by halves. As here is Collins going for Juravicius and overthrows his receiver. As we check in now on a game break with James Brown in LA. JB.
Hey, take a look, Dick.
Packers may be saying amen to Amon, who brings this Packer team back against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3rd down and 10. Out of the shotgun is Collins. 4 wide receivers. Pass all the way. Collins looking for someone and throws it, and it's caught by Amani Toomer. Toomer is going to run for the score. There were 2 receivers in the same neighborhood, and Amani Toomer made the catch. And I wonder who Collins really wanted to go to on that, Troy.
Dick, he wasn't throwing it to Amani Toomer. I know that. It was a bad throw, but you had a guy in the right place at the right time. He's trying to hit Ike Hilliard. Instead, he throws it high on Hilliard, but Amani's able to catch it. You take a look here. Kerry does a nice job working up in the pocket, working back left. He throws it high on Hilliard, but Amani Toomer is there to make the play.
Dallas is going to challenge.
Yeah, and let me tell you what, Darren Woodson has been running all over the field trying to get the Dallas Cowboy coaching staff to get that challenge flag out before they line up for this kick.
It was an 80-yard play if it goes.
You might have the same situation as we had on the last one. That one right there is George Teague comes in front of him, kind of blocks the very tail end of the play, but at this point right now, Darren Woodson is on the field trying to get his coaches to call it. He's signaling incomplete.
And the Cowboys are challenging it. No surprise there. And again, as you know, Troy, last time it looked like it might have been incomplete, but indisputable visual evidence.
You know, you look at it right there. He's got his arms underneath the ball, and as Moose said, you got George Teague running across right at the time when you make the decision, did he or did he not have the catch? Here's a better look at it here, and he's got his hands. If the other one was inconclusive, I don't see how this one can be anything but inconclusive as well. Funny game, this football, isn't it?
I don't know. There's our one right there. I think that one short hops in. I think that's your one right there. I think he short hops that one into him.
Yeah, from that angle there, it does look like it hits the ground and rolls into his arms.
And if they uphold the challenge by Dave Campo, it will be a 4th and 10 for the Giants. So the Dallas Cowboys giving the Giants all they can handle today as the Cowboys trying to make it 3 in a row after losing their first 4 games in what is a very tight, if unspectacular, NFC East race. Here's another look, and the Giants trying to end a 3-game losing streak.
Just the way the ball comes up to him, it doesn't look like he gets his hands underneath right there. It looks like it hits the ground and then kind of bounces up into his chest. But it's going to be all interpretation by the official. But I think this one, you might have a little bit more evidence to overturn it than you did on the previous one.
Jerry Jones down on the sideline talking with Dave Campo.
Yeah, I think Jerry's saying that he thinks it hit the ground. I think he's confirming.
He's hoping that's the ruling, that it hit the ground.
He does it all.
He might have his head in that replay booth before this thing's over, making the call himself.
He may have to put on a striped shirt first. I mean, they only let the referee in there.
Well, just don't tell him that.
And again, this crowd standing, waiting for the ruling by Bernie Kukar. The earlier challenge by the Giants was not upheld. The Giants were charged with a timeout. Giants do not have any more challenges, and here's Bernie Kukar. This is big. This is 4th and 10 or a touchdown for the Giants.
After reviewing the play, the ball hit the ground. It's an incomplete pass. 4th and 10 on the 20. 1 minute, 33 seconds on the scoreboard clock.
Well, you guys are on the money today. So it's 4th down and 10. Now, Rodney Williams suffered a fractured right wrist in the last half hour, went in for an x-ray. And the word was that even with the fractured wrist, he might be able to punt anyway. Now, that only comes into play now, and Rodney Williams is coming onto the field. As you can see, the wrist has been taped heavily.
Yeah, and that's the hand that he'll be using to drop the ball to make the punt. You wonder how that will affect his punt.
He'll be kicking from about the 10-yard line. Reggie Swinton is back deep. And they came at him. They were looking for the block. A line drive kick. Swinton at his 40-yard line. A flag is down back where the kick took place, and Swinton will take it just into Giant territory. So Rodney Williams gets off a 40-yard kick, and the penalty will be against the Giants. Preliminary signal is illegal hands to the face.
Illegal use of hands. Number 82 of the kicking team, hands to the face. Penalty is declined.
Tabidi Davis. So the penalty declined, and the Cowboys will now have the ball at midfield in what has been a crazy quilt game, the way this thing has turned out, with 2 interceptions returned for touchdowns by the Cowboys. The Giants picking off 2 in the end zone in what looked like a 31-7 Dallas game turned into 24-14. We've had 2 challenges, 1 rejected on the Giants side, accepted on the Cowboys side, and we have 1:20 to go in the 3rd. Here's Troy Hambrick, and Hambrick getting a couple with Mike Barrow making the stop. Well, tonight you couldn't get drama any better than this. Game 7 of the World Series. It's a magic time. The Yankees with Roger Clemens, the Diamondbacks with Curt Schilling, coming back with 3 days rest, making his 3rd start in this World Series. Last night, the Diamondbacks winning 15-2, and tonight, Game 7 of the World Series presented by Budweiser. 2nd and 8 for Dallas on the New York 48. Stoerner looking one way and going out on the flat to Mike Lucky. And Lucky picking up 3 yards, leaving him 5 short of the first down.
And here again, the Cowboys have great field position to start a drive, and the 2 previous drives that they had, they also had great field position, but they weren't able to do anything with it, and they weren't able to get any points because of the interceptions, as you mentioned. And here they are again with good field position, now 3rd and 5, and this again becomes a big 3rd down.
And you can see the difference between Clint Stoerner's numbers in the first half and the second, but the Cowboys still have the edge going in to the 4th quarter. That is the end of the 3rd with the score. The Cowboys 24, the Giants 14. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. And Dallas with a 3rd down and 5 on the Giant 45-yard line. So another big third down situation, and the Cowboys have made it happen most of the day, especially when it's more than third and short. They've done well. Stoerner being chased down by Holmes, and it's intercepted by Dhani Jones. And Dhani Jones gets it back to midfield. So Stoerner throwing 3 second-half interceptions, giving the Giants continued life.
Well, and you talk about, you talk about the interceptions, and if they do nothing more than punt the ball or kick field goals, then this game is not as close as what it is right now. But Clint Stoerner has made some bad decisions here down the stretch. Dhani Jones right there on good coverage does a nice job of intercepting, but a bad decision on Clint Stoerner's part. And if you don't have it there, particularly at this point in the ball game, you got to throw that one away.
Giants at midfield, trailing by 10. 13 seconds into the fourth quarter. Ron Dane gets the call, and Dane, using blocking by Glenn Parker, gets very close to the first down. He may have it.
Well, you can see the frustration right there, and it's just like Troy pointed out, these mistakes, this game should not be as close as it is right now. And he had Michael Wiley open in the flat initially. He wanted to get the ball downfield. It was something that he talked to us about. Sometimes he forces the ball downfield. Those 3 interceptions are all the result of Clint trying to create something that's not there.
And you see Wade Wilson there trying to talk to him and try to get his mind back in this game. They're going to need him here in the second half.
The pitch to Tiki Barber, leaping over a defender. And the tackle made by Marcus Steele. And a gain of a couple of yards. So Wade Wilson, who's your backup for many years and now the quarterback coach.
Yeah, he backed me up for a couple of years, and then this last year he was my quarterback coach, and this is his second season in that capacity, and really an outstanding young football coach who's done a great job. When you consider the fact that Clint Stoerner is their 4th starting quarterback, it lets you know what kind of job he's done in trying to prepare these quarterbacks.
2nd and 7 at the 37. Barber swings out and gets by Marcus Steele and gets close to the first down. He does not get out of bounds. So Steele missed the tackle, and where they place the ball may be another Giant first down.
Tiki Barber has a nose for the first down marker. He makes a nice little move right there on Marcus Steele, but watch how he finishes this. He gets his head down, he gets low. You watch this team on tape, and 3 or 4 times during the course of the game, he'll catch a short pass and he'll get you the first down and keep that drive alive, keep the chains moving. He's got an uncanny ability to find that first down marker.
This is the shortest measurement in the history of football, bringing out the chains. They bring it out about a yard, and they're close, and they've got it.
I want to get back to a comment that Troy made as we started the second half, that this was a defining moment for the New York Giants football team. Now, we're getting into the fourth quarter right now, maybe even so much more this drive. You know, they've had the turnovers, they've dodged the bullet. Okay, we're going into the fourth quarter. We've got our turnover at midfield. A team that is championship caliber should be able to take that advantage and go down and finish off an opponent they consider to be more talented than.
Cowboys have an edge in total yardage by 1. Camilla in motion to the right. First down and a play fake. Collins going to Barber underneath, and Barber getting by Marcus Steele again and picking up 5 yards on the play.
You know, Dad Wynn, he was in position there to make a play on Tiki Barber, and he's unable to. And time again, when I've seen Dad Wynn, he's in position to make plays, but he's not able to finish the plays. He's done that earlier. He missed a guy up the sideline that allowed him to get a big first down, and then again there on that play.
Yeah, it wasn't Steele, it was Wynn, as you pointed out. So 2nd down and 4. Ron Dane, the power back, is in there and powers up the middle, and he is tackled by Marcus Steele, the first man to get him. Steele, the 4th round draft choice from Southern California, who went in to play linebacker when Darren Hambrick was released last week.
Yeah, and Marcus Steele, he's a big, strong guy, and his greatest asset is his speed. He's tremendously quick, has great speed, and that's one of the things that this Cowboy coaching staff wants to do, is they want to build a defensive football team based on speed, and that's a great place to start with Marcus Steele.
Now Barber back in. Hilliard in motion. 3rd and 3, Giants. And they go to Hilliard, and Hilliard diving for the sticks and won't make it. He'll be a couple of yards shy as the Dallas Cowboys, as you mentioned, Troy, a lot faster on defense, swarm over Ike Hilliard, bringing up 4th down, and Morton Anderson will come in to try to narrow the Cowboy lead to 7.
And one of the things you notice, and I had a chance to see Dallas play earlier in the year, in recent weeks, the pursuit to the football. And right there, a situation where Ike Hilliard breaks that initial tackle, and he's got an opportunity to get the 1st down, but all of a sudden he's got 4 or 5 Dallas defenders coming at him from the inside out to get him down.
This will be a 41-yard attempt by Morton Anderson. And the kick is good. So Morton Anderson in his 300th career game with a 40-yard field goal, bringing the Giants to within 7. This along with Babe Laufenberg and Brad Sham in the Dallas Cowboys radio booth. Dan Rather, the CBS correspondent who played football in Texas, working today. Reggie Swinton returning from the 5-yard line, and Swinton is tackled at the 22-yard line by Kevin Lewis.
It's just been an afternoon of missed opportunities. This missed field goal at the end of the 1st half started everything going. Everything went bad in the 3rd quarter when scoring opportunities vanished with interceptions in the end zone.
Well, and now what you got to do is you got to see, how does Clint Stoerner respond? There's the last one he threw right there, but how does Clint Stoerner respond to what has happened in this ball game? And he's got to get his mind right and realize that he's still got an opportunity to drive this football team down the field and get points, and that's exactly what he's going to have to do.
Peterson, Sehorn, and Dhani Jones with the interception, and the running play to Troy Hambrick. Gets a couple of yards on 1st down as we check in with Pam Oliver. Pam?
All right, Dick, along the lines of what Troy just talked about, Clint Stoerner seemed demoralized. Wade Wilson did not leave his side the entire time the Giants defense, or the Giants, had the ball. Stoerner just kept shaking his head in disbelief. At one point, Emmitt Smith came over to try to encourage the kid just to shake it off.
Well, and that's, you know, if you play this game long enough, you're going to have those kind of days. You hope they don't come in your 2nd start.
2nd and 8. From the 24. Again Hambrick, and he's tripped up, and that was Cornelius Griffin. No gain on the play, bringing up 3rd down and 8.
Well, right now the Giants have got a clue on what the Dallas offense is doing, because they're bringing their linebackers, they're shifting people, and they're shifting them right to where the Dallas Cowboys are going to run the ball. So right now I think that they've become predictable. Keith Hamilton right there, the guy that's very important for this defense. He's trying to get these guys up because he knows how important this defensive stand is right here.
3rd and 8. Third down and 8. And Stoerner up the middle, and the pass thrown behind Michael Wiley, the running back, out of the backfield. And the Giants hold on a 3 and out, and the Cowboys will have to punt.
Well, they're trying to run a double screen there. You got Michael Strahan, who sniffs it out pretty good. Michael Wiley's trying to get up inside, gets a step on Strahan. Actually, if Clint Stoerner is able to get the ball upfield and in a position where he can catch the ball, that would have been a huge gain.
Instead, Mike Adore will be kicking from the 10-yard line, and Tiki Barber is back deep for the Giants. The kick is blocked. Tabidi Davis blocked the kick, and the Giants will get it inside the Cowboy 15. The old double thump.
Well, you hate to hear this sound if you're on the punt team. Tabidi Davis coming from the punting team's left side. That's textbook. You beat your guy, you lay out right at the block point.
So the Giants, after Tabidi Davis blocks the kick, will have a 1st and 10 at the Dallas 14, trailing by 7. Ron Dane gets the call, and on the pitch with Camella blocking, Dane turning the corner, gets inside the 10-yard line. where Coakley and Greg Ellis make the play. A pickup for Dane of 5, losing a shoe in the process.
Well, so many times when you have bad things happen to a football team, particularly when you're playing on the road, the offensive team starts getting some real momentum. That blocked punt right there has ignited this crowd, and in return it's ignited this offensive football team. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if they don't throw a pass on this series and just let either Tiki Barber or Ron Dane run this football. And Tiki Barber's in the game right now.
2nd and 5. It's a play fake, and Collins looking into the end zone. Touchdown! Ike Hilliard. Well, it takes a quarterback to sense momentum, and what would be a good call in a given time, Troy? You've been there before, I know.
Well, that's why Sean Payton's calling the plays. You got Kerry Collins coming off of play action. You take a look, and he's rolling out, and he finds Ike Hilliard on the back of the end zone. A nice job by Hilliard finding a hole on the back, and Kerry Collins being able to get the ball to him.
And Morton Anderson looking to tie the score, and the kick is good. So Tabidi Davis with a clutch block of the punt, and Kerry Collins with his 3rd touchdown pass to Ike Hilliard, and the Cowboys and Giants are all tied. Tabidi Davis with his block of the punt, and now the Giants, who have come back with 17 unanswered points to tie the game. Reggie Swinton on the return, and he's ganged up on the 22-yard line with 8:08 remaining in the 4th quarter. So here was Kerry Collins, who has had many rough moments today, but found Ike Hilliard all alone. Strahan trying to get the crowd into it. He doesn't have to do much for that. And Dallas starting from the 22-yard line. Clint Stoerner. And he completes to Rocket Ismail, and he is dragged down immediately by Jason Sehorn for 14.
We go back and take a look at the touchdown. Look at these linebackers here, and you got Hilliard here who's going to run across. The linebackers are brought up off the play action. Kerry Collins spots Hilliard in the back of the end zone, and just a really nice job of Hilliard finding the crease. You see him here. There's nobody there because the linebackers coming up. Hilliard sits down in the hole and gets the ball.
Giants scoring 10 points in less than 2.5 minutes to tie the score. First down at the 36 for the Cowboys. Stoerner looking for a receiver. Flag is down. Stoerner now running, and Michael Barrow gets a hand on him. And Stoerner will get the first down, but there may be a holding call against the Cowboys. And that's what Bernie Kukar signals.
It's going to be up at the top of your screen.
88 offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
You got Jackie Harris, a tight end, blocking Kenny Holmes, a defensive end, one-on-one. That's a tough situation. That advantage goes to Kenny Holmes, and Jackie just tries to use a little bit too illegal of a move there at the end.
Well, and that's something that this Cowboy team has done a very good job of is not being penalized. They're one of the least penalized teams in the National Football League, but you couldn't have picked a worse time to get penalized than right here when you're trying to swing the momentum back in your favor.
And the Giant defense at this point could smell blood the way they can be aroused at this time. They'll see what they do on first down and 20. Stoerner going back in his pass intended for Galloway, and in a sea of blue jerseys led by Jason Sehorn, the pass is incomplete. Well, the New York fans have gloried in the 11th hour rallies this week, with the New York Yankees winning 3 games at home against the Arizona Diamondbacks, hoping that the Giants could do their part for a miracle finish. And you know, these fans will be heading home on the highways and byways to watch Game 7 tonight, when the Yankees and the Arizona Diamondbacks in the series finale, presented by Budweiser, right here on Fox. 2nd and 20. Stoerner getting some pressure, drills it, and unable to hold on is Joey Galloway.
You know, they're going to bring pressure. The Giants defense is going to bring pressure off the corner. You see Sean Williams coming off the top. Clint Stoerner does a nice job of hanging in the pocket, delivers the ball. Joey Galloway working one-on-one against Jason Sehorn. And not a great throw, but a ball that has to be caught in that situation. You can't afford not to come up with that catch. And that's something that Joey Galloway has struggled with. He's made the easy catches, but he's had a hard time coming down with the difficult catch.
Big play on third and very long. And Holmes indicating that he felt Flozell Adams had moved before the snap. And we'll have a false start penalty against the Cowboys.
False start, 76 offense. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
You know, Dick, and this is when you lose, when you don't have a veteran quarterback, and then also this is the time when you lose Emmitt Smith being in your huddle, when you don't have a veteran player, and somebody in that huddle, a Mark Stepnoski, a Larry Allen, has to be the guy to step up and calm this group down, because there's no one else in that huddle that's been in this situation before.
Third down and 25. Stoerner getting enough time, and he drills it, and the pass is picked off by Brandon Short. A 21-yard return by the Giant linebacker, their fourth interception of the day, inside the 20.
This is a 3rd and 25, and when we talked to Clint Stoerner yesterday, he talked about forcing the ball downfield. Watch how many people are around this football, and look at Michael Wiley right there. Drop the ball off to Michael Wiley. Let him make a play for you. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 New York Giant defenders right there. He knows it's a problem that he has, but he's continued to do it this half, trying to make something big happen. Take the little check down to Michael Wiley. Give your team an opportunity to punt the ball and force the Giants to drive the field.
So the Cowboys' house is crumbling as the Giants, with a first down on the Dallas 18, Ron Dane pounding the middle and picking up about 4 on the play. So Clint Stoerner, who has been hit throughout this game, but 4 second-half interceptions. And he had a very poised first half, but that has all come tumbling down in the second half.
Well, and it has, and he's made some poor decisions. There's no question about that. But what he's got to do is he's got to be able to snap out of that and just worry about the next series. This game is far from being over, and part of being a good quarterback in this league is having a short memory.
2nd and 6 on the 14 for the Giants, looking to take a lead. Here is Tiki Barber or Ron Dane. And Dane short of the first down by about 2 yards. Plenty of time remaining. We have had so much action for 2 games, and we still have 5:40 left in this.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Dick, at the start of this half, and you see Ryan Leaf there warming up, but at the start of this half, we talked about that the Giants were going to show us in this second half what they were made of and what kind of team that they are. And so far, they've shown us that they are a championship team with, or at least championship guys. Whether or not they're a championship team is yet to be seen, but it's a team with a lot of character.
Giants are 0 for 7 on third down conversions. They need 2 yards here. And here is Ron Dane on the sweep, trying to turn the corner, and he's got it. So the Giants finally convert a third down, and they'll wind up 1st and goal as a result.
Well, Dallas had the right defense call. They brought Darren Woodson into the side where they're running the toss sweep. You'll see him come into your picture from the bottom left. And he comes in, he disrupts everything. He beats the block. There's Darren right there at the bottom. These guys right here have to continue to come and get to that marker and prevent Ron Dane from getting the first down.
1st and goal for the Giants at the 7-yard line. Tiki Barber comes in, and Ron Dane goes out of the game. 2 tight ends for the Giants. And here is Barber with Parker blocking. Tiki Barber diving, gets to about the 3-yard line. Darren Woodson knocks him out of bounds, a pickup of 4.
Well, and they talk about the New York Giant offense and their inability to run the ball last week. And you take a look at Clint Parker right here. He's going to be pulling out, and Tiki's just going to ride his hip. He comes in here at DeJuan Hawthorne, a corner. Obviously a mismatch, but it allows Tiki Barber to get a few more yards. And then again, you've got a missed tackle there with Darren Woodson on the outside.
The Giants have gained 78 yards on the ground. They have a 2nd and goal at the 3. Dane is back. Here's Dane with Camella blocking. And he fumbles. Ron Dane fumbles. And the Dallas Cowboys have it. So Dane fumbles at the 2-yard line, and the Dallas Cowboys come up with a huge defensive play when the Giants appeared to be going in for the go-ahead score.
It's the same play that they ran last time. Glenn Parker coming out and pull. Watch Ron Dane. He gets stuck in the pile. And I think it is Arantes Grant. Arantes Grant gets up from down on his knee and just strips him. What a heads-up play by Arantes Grant.
And there it is again. Ryan Leaf has come on to play quarterback, as you see the look of the fumble again. And Stoerner says, what's happening? And we're going to have a timeout. What's happening is that Clint Stoerner has been replaced by Ryan Leaf in his first appearance in a Cowboy uniform.
No sense whatsoever. Ryan has not played in a regular season game since December of last year, and he hardly knows the offense.
And he fumbled a snap. Fortunately for the Cowboys, they did not lose the ball. Troy Hambrick got the handoff.
One of the things that the Cowboys have wanted to do is they've wanted to evaluate Ryan Leaf, but they've wanted to do it when he's been able to be put in a position when he can have success. When you're talking about a tie ball game in a divisional game against the New York Giants on the road, and you're on your own 2-yard line, that to me is not the time that you want to evaluate Ryan Leaf. You saw that he couldn't get the snap right there. That's been a problem with all quarterbacks this year for this football team, and I think you're setting this kid up for failure, putting him in a game at this time.
2nd and 10 from the 3. And Ryan Leaf's first throw in a Cowboy uniform is caught by Rocket Ismail. So Leaf from the end zone hitting Rocket Ismail to the 41-yard line and a gain of 37. That's just what Ryan Leaf wanted. Give me an end zone toss.
Well, they knew when he got in the game that one of the things that he does do and one of his strengths is getting the ball down the field, and that's the only reason I can think of as to why they would put him in the game. Rocket Ismail makes a nice catch there laying out, and he makes the catch that Joey Galloway misses on the series prior to this one.
And even if you wondered about it, the Giants had no challenges left if that were an issue. Troy Hambrick trying to go wide will give ground and lose about a yard on the play thanks to Sam Garnes, the strong safety. So everyone catching their collective breaths with 2:54 remaining in regulation. The Giants and the Cowboys tied at 24 after the Cowboys twice had 17-point leads.
Well, you see Clint Stoerner there on the sidelines, and you know he was visibly upset, and rightfully so. He hasn't played well, but no one expects to get pulled when the game's in the balance with 4 minutes to play. Ryan Leaf getting time, and he dumps it off and overthrows Johnny Huggins. Well, and I think that's, you know, you watch him here in this situation, and he's not particularly comfortable with the offense, and that's why he hasn't played sooner than what he has. They feel that he's a more gifted athlete, a more talented athlete than someone like Clint Stoerner, but he doesn't have the working knowledge of the offense. You see a little bit of the indecision right there, and if they have to get into a 2-minute situation, Ryan has practiced the 2-minute, but he doesn't have a real working understanding of the fundamentals and the mechanics of it.
3rd down and 11 from the Cowboy 39. Leaf's pass caught, first down of the Giant 43 by Galloway.
Well, the one thing that this Dallas offensive line has done all day for either quarterback is protection, and Solomon Page a lot of times has been singled up. This time he gets a little bit of help again from Michael Wiley. But Ryan Leaf does a great job standing in the pocket, delivering the deep in route to Joey Galloway. Now, the Giants defense, when they lost the close one to St. Louis, to Philly, they had opportunities for this defense to make a stand and get off the field and allow this team to win a football game, and they couldn't do it. Right now, they're in that exact same situation. We are winding down to the 2-minute warning right here, and this is a thing that has concerned John Fox and Jim Fossil the most. This defense has not been able to close the deal when it has had to.
17-yard gain and the 2-minute warning with the score tied. We'll be right back. Sort of a roller coaster kind of game today. The Dallas Cowboys with Ryan Leaf taking over in the shadow of his own goal line and delivering a 37-yard pass to get the Cowboys out of trouble, trying to get the go-ahead points in a 24-24 game. This is after the Giants were within the 5-yard line and Ron Dayne fumbled. And right now the 2-minute warning is history. 1st and 10, Cowboys on the Giant 43. Leaf is in to throw the ball, and he throws it into the neighborhood, but nobody is home as Strahan charging in on the former San Diego Charger.
And Solomon Page has got to know where his help is coming from. You'll see Johnny Huggins, he's going to be on his outside, so Solomon should sit inside. He allows Michael Strahan to beat him inside. He's got to know that he's got that help to give him a little bit of chip on that wide rush and not give up the inside.
1:55 remaining. Keep in mind Tim Cedars' career long is 48 yards. So the Cowboys would have to go about 15 yards to get into position for a field goal. And Michael Strahan winds up getting to know Ryan Leaf a lot better. Flags down naturally.
False start. 77 off. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Well, and that's something that here's Solomon Page right there, and Moose, you talked about it earlier, knowing where your help is and stuff, but when you've got a guy like Michael Strahan lining up on you, there's a real tendency for them to want to get out of there a little bit quicker.
And especially in that situation where he's got such a wide start. I mean, he was outside the tight end by 2 yards, so Solomon knows he's really going to have to get on the ball. With Solomon right here again.
2nd and 15 near midfield. Ryan Leaf is going to be sacked back in his own territory by Frank Ferrara, who replaced Ross Kalagi at defensive tackle, who is playing in place of the injured Keith Hamilton, and Ferrara makes the big play.
Well, here's Kalagi right here. He's going to be working up against Larry Allen, and he puts a little spin move and gets inside and is able to bring him down for a sack. And that's something that Ryan Leaf is not a real mobile guy. Excuse me, that was Ferrara that made the sack, but Ryan Leaf is not a real mobile guy, and it was evident on that play there.
First-year player from the University of Rhode Island, Ferrara, and a loss of 5. So it's 3rd down and 20, and Leaf's pass incomplete. He tried to drill it to Rocket Ismail, and Sam Garnes was the last to get a shot at it. So it's 4th down, and Micah Knorr is coming in to kick.
Well, he's he had a chance. He's throwing into coverage again. He's lucky that ball wasn't intercepted there. But I will say this, that you come in that situation and you start the drive on the 4-yard line. For them to be able to move the football, and Ryan a big part of that, to get this ball here to the 47-yard line is really big.
He got him out of trouble, and now Micah Knorr will try to pin the Giants in with 1:16 remaining. Tiki Barber is back. And Barber will field it at the 8-yard line, and a flag is back behind the line of scrimmage.
Nice hit by Lynn Scott on the coverage right there.
Holding against the Cowboys.
And you mentioned Lynn Scott, Moose, and that, we played with a guy with the Dallas Cowboys, Bill Bates, who they actually made a Pro Bowl spot for special teams players due to that position in the play that Bill Bates had. Bill now working with the special teams.
Holding 55 of the kicking team. That's a 10-yard penalty. Still 4th down.
Mark Castile.
Bill Bates now working with the special teams. There's a shot of him right there. And Lynn Scott, a free agent, reminds everybody of Bill Bates. And as you well know, if he's anything like Bill Bates, he's going to have one heck of a career.
He really played himself onto the team during preseason with just the big hits that he was putting on people in the preseason games. He's an overachiever. And right there, now here's one of these little penalties in a football game that really goes unnoticed. They had the ball. They tackle Tiki on the 10-yard line. They get the holding penalty, backs them up. Let's see how much field position they actually lose on this 10-yard penalty right here.
Lynn Scott, an undrafted rookie from Northwest Oklahoma State. 1:06 on the clock, and a costly penalty in that Tiki Barber was inside his 10-yard line. Now he gets another chance. As you look at Kerry Collins, sort of a second-half comeback for Collins. He went one way, and Clint Stoerner went the other way for the Cowboys in the second half. So Noor, and here is Barber at the 14. Tiki Barber, and gets it out to the 36-yard line where Dexter Coakley makes the tackle. A 21-yard return. Don't forget tonight, the 7th game of the World Series presented by Budweiser. Roger Clemens of the Yankees against Curt Schilling of the Diamondbacks. 2 potential Cy Young Award winners pitching in Game 7. You know, depending on what happens tonight, this could go down as one of the all-time great World Series. And it probably is anyway, but tonight could be the storyteller.
Well, and I agree. It's going to go down as one of the all-time great ones, and then just how great is going to be determined by what happens today. But how about those 2 pictures?
Good omen for New Yorkers, because in '86 the Giants played the Redskins when the Mets played the Red Sox in the World Series. Inside handoff to Barber, and a loss thanks to John Nix.
Well, what they're trying to do here is they're in a no-huddle offense, but they've instructed Kerry Collins. You saw Jim Fossil talking to him before the series. If it's there, take it. If it's not, don't do anything foolish with the ball. We'll go into overtime.
2nd down and 11, and Collins will run and slide short of the first down at the 44, and the clock stops, and the timeout called by the Giants with 21 seconds left, and the Giants on their own 44.
And they have 1 timeout left, Dick, so there's still enough time on the clock with 20 seconds that they can get a couple plays, try to save that timeout for their field goal team. They can get in a position to try to make an effort to kick a field goal and win this ball game in regulation.
And hopefully the Giants defense has silenced their critics. We talked about them on that last series of being able to close their side of the ball off and give the opportunity back to the offense. And right now, you know, with a guy like Morton Anderson, that's why he was brought in here, is situations like this. And this Dallas defense now has to do what they just saw the Giants defense do, and that is not allow this offense to get into a position to kick that game-winning field goal in regulation.
Giants would need to get the ball to the 33-yard line of the Cowboys for a 50-yard field goal for Anderson if they can. 3rd down and 2 at the 44. Time running out, and Kerry Collins diving. He gets the first down. Not as significant, however, as stopping the clock with 15 seconds.
Well, they had one-on-one all across the board. Surprisingly, the Cowboys went to a man coverage and wasn't giving anybody any help, and Kerry seemed determined to try to pick up the first down. In this situation with 15 seconds on the clock, first downs are really of no use. They've got to get one big play here, about 25 yards, to get themselves in a position to get a field goal.
They're on their own 48-yard line, 15 seconds and 1 timeout remaining for the Giants. And here is Collins, and he completes it to Barber, and Barber out of bounds with 9 seconds to the 42-yard line of the Cowboys, and the Giants need about 9 yards. And I use that as a gauge for Morton Anderson to try a 50-yard field goal.
Well, and what I'd like to see him do is, right now there's a tendency for this defensive football team, for the Cowboys, to think that they're going to throw something to the outside. The Giants offensively still have 1 timeout to burn. I would like to see him try to do something down the middle of the field to get the yards and then get the timeout and get their team, get something in here is where I would want to go with the football.
So here is Collins, and Collins overthrows Hilliard with 4 seconds remaining. So the middle was open, and again Collins going toward the sideline.
And now really all he's left himself an opportunity to do is take a Hail Mary shot into the end zone. And I totally agree with you right there, Troy. You know, Dallas in their history is always guarded the sidelines and allowed people to get into the middle of the field. And with that timeout left and only about 10 yards needed for a comfortable Morton Anderson field goal, surprised to see them try and press the sideline.
Giants have used their last timeout.
I think you take a look there at Dave Campo, and he still, I think, got to just be shaking his head wondering where he lost the game. Not that he's lost, but how he was able to allow the Giants to get back into this. And it was all about defense in the first half for the Dallas Cowboys getting the interceptions. And then in the second half, the tide turned, and the New York Giants defense was then able to get the interceptions. And that's what allowed them to get back in this game.
Here's Morton Anderson on the field.
Well, I tell you what, this is going to be some kick right here.
This is a 60-yard attempt. Maybe officially it'll be 59. Holding will be Jason Garrett, a 59-yard attempt.
I disagree. I say you throw a Hail Mary into the end zone.
They're going to try the field goal. Here comes the snap, and Morton Anderson's kick is not going to get there. And we're going into overtime.
I don't know that it would have gotten there when he was 30 years old, Dick.
And you know, we have no wind today. Normally,
in fact, I don't know that it would have gotten there if he was 22. That's a pretty big kick, asking for a guy in his 40s.
And no wind. Normally at Giant Stadium, any time of the year, you're going to get wind affecting you, swirling winds, but we don't have any of that today, but it was just too far.
Well, both teams at the end of, the Cowboys at the end of the first half with an opportunity to get some points, and they really botched that with some conservative play calling and then a missed field goal. And then here, the Giants, as you pointed out, Troy, not taking a shot into the middle of the field with the timeout to give themselves an opportunity to kick something less than a 60-yard field goal.
Well, I tell you, now it's time for overtime, and what I'm interested in watching is when they decided that Ryan Leaf was going to be the quarterback and that's who they were going to go with, they kind of caught him by surprise. He didn't have a whole lot of time to think about what it was he was going to be doing. All of a sudden, he just rushed out onto the field.
It is like the extension of the fourth quarter. That includes a 2-minute warning. Each team will have 2 timeouts.
So we will have the coin toss in the middle of the field for overtime. Cowboys had a 17-0 lead in the second.
Tails was called.
And 24-7 at the half.
Tails it is. Dallas has won the toss. Let the ball. Dallas has won the toss. Will receive. Good luck, gentlemen.
So ready for overtime. Ryan Leaf leading the Cowboys. The Cowboys 11-8 all time in overtime. The Giants trying to get back to 500. 9-10 and 2 ties. We'll be back. Kickoff. Reggie Swinton returning for the Cowboys. Swinton, a dangerous kickoff return man. Gets it to the 30. Troy, you were making a point.
Well, and what I was saying is when Ryan went into the ball game there at the start, he wasn't given a lot of notice before he went into that game, and so he was just reacting. Now he's had time to settle in and actually realize that he is going to be the quarterback for the remainder of this football game, and we'll see now how he responds. He responded very favorably in that first drive. Now he's had a chance to talk over some of the plays, some of the things that he likes, and we'll see how he handles the situation.
Cowboys on the 29-yard line. First team to score wins. If no one scores after 15 minutes, it goes into the books as a tie. And Hambrick brought down by Frank Ferrara, who has made his mark in the late stages.
Well, he sure has. He's really done a nice job. He had the sack on Ryan Leaf in the previous series. Does a nice job there of getting upfield and making the tackle on Troy Hambrick.
Second half, 6 possessions, 4 interceptions, a block punt, and a punt. The Cowboys led 24-7 at the half. Kerry Collins hit Juravicius and Hilliard for 2 scores, and Anderson's field goal, accounting for 17 unanswered points. Second down and 8 at the 31. Here's Ryan Leaf with the pump fake, and he drills it, and the pass is caught. Great catch made by Jackie Harris for a 22-yard gain to the Giant 47.
Ryan Leaf feeling very comfortable in this pocket. We haven't given this offensive line enough credit. They've done a great job. You see Kelvin Garmin peeling back and allowing Ryan to step up in that pocket, and then Jackie Harris on the route.
Yeah, and you got him working against Brandon Short. Brandon Short has no idea where he's even running the route to, and trailing him by 3 yards the entire way. And Ryan Leaf does a nice job of spotting him, and a good route by Jackie Harris.
Cowboys first down, Giant 47. Pressure put on Leaf, and he doesn't have a chance. Mike Barrow had a huge loss of more than 9-8 yards on the play.
Well, and this is what we talked about during the game. Moose has said why they're not bringing more pressure. You got Sehorn coming here, you got Barrow coming up the middle, and nobody's there to stop them. They brought too many guys, more than they can block. Ryan looked like he put in his left hand there, like he was going to try to throw the ball with as much bad things that has happened to this offense. I think he did the right thing and just ate that one.
The loss was 10 yards. Back to the Cowboy 43. And Ryan Leaf getting time, and there's Galloway, and it's overthrown. Peterson and Williams defending against Joey Galloway, who today has caught a touchdown pass.
Right now, the Dallas Cowboys, their last drive in regulation and this opening drive here in overtime, they've had a guy step up and make a huge play out near midfield to give them an opportunity to get into field goal range. And in regulation, they had the holding pedal. And then overtime, they've had the sack. So they're just not being able to develop any consistency, any rhythm right now in the passing game. And right there, there's only 2 guys out in that route, with the Giants only rushing 3 and dropping 8 into coverage.
And the Cowboys will call one of the 2 timeouts that they have in overtime right here. Scores tied at 24, and the Giant defense has pushed the Cowboys back into their own territory. Straight start, had a terrific first half, but then 4 interceptions in the second half, pulled for Ryan Leaf. And for Kerry Collins, he struggled in the first half and responded in the second half with 3 touchdown passes in the game. Troy Hambrick for the injured Emmitt Smith, 77 yards, has been a workhorse today. And there you see the turnovers and the points. It has been a wild game, and the Cowboys with 2 touchdowns on interceptions. So now 3rd and 20 for Dallas on their 43.
And here's Michael Strahan here, Dick.
They put 2 men on him, and the pass wide open up the middle is Michael Wiley, and Wiley's dragged down. He gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and Jason Sehorn on the defensive play. So the Cowboys had 2 men defending against Strahan.
Actually brought a 3rd one out there on top of that, but right there, I think this is not really a bad play. We'll go back to the beginning with Michael Strahan. And again, Solomon Page is there, and here's Jackie Harris, and here comes Kelvin Garmin. They're going to make sure he doesn't make a play in this overtime, but Dallas gives themselves a chance to really gain some field advantage. Let's bury this punt deep and force the Giants into limited play calling deep in their end.
Mike Lenore, who had 1 punt blocked by Tabiti Davis, and the fair catch called for by Tiki Barber on the 15-yard line.
Not exactly what I was looking for, but I think you should be able to execute that one a little bit better, Dick. From the 48-yard line, you should be able to get inside the 15.
Game's different from up here, isn't it? Moose, huh? Now you know why the announcers up here and the analysts.
Well, we talked about that. When Dallas was down there. I mean, it's a difficult situation. And your first drive in overtime, if you get to really pin them inside the 10, possibly inside the 5.
Meanwhile, the Giants start from the 15-yard line, 1st and 10. Collins handing off to play action, and the pass is caught by Amani Toomer, and a first down and a gain of 14. What a fake by Kerry Collins. Best one I've seen today.
Well, you know what? It was a good fake, and that's what Kerry Collins is at his best, is when he's able to do play action, which holds people and allows him to have clear lanes and clear throws to his receivers. They opened the game with this play last week against Washington and had Amani Toomer wide open, and they failed to complete that pass. And they worked on some of the little things in Carey's footwork, and it paid off. They had the exact same play there, and they do complete the pass to Amani then.
First down, Giants on the 29. Ron Dane up the middle for about a couple. Marcus Steele making the tackle will give Dane 3 yards on the play. We are in overtime here at Giant Stadium. The Dallas Cowboys riding a 2-game winning streak and within a game of first place Philadelphia in the NFC East. The Eagles are leading the Cardinals 7-0 out in the desert. The Giants trying to shut the door on a 3-game losing streak themselves at 3-4. Cowboys had leads of 17-0, 24-7, and we're all even at 24. Second down 7 for the Giants, and here's Ron Dane going off the left side, and Dane out to the 35-yard line will be about 4 yards shy of the first down.
Good job by the Dallas defensive line, just maintaining their position on the line of scrimmage and moving down the line with the blockers, not allowing any cutback lanes, and they've done a great job this year stopping the run. Last year, everybody remembers how poorly they started the season with the 200-yard rushing games early on, and that was the point of emphasis this year, and they've done a very good job, and especially with the Giants. I mean, they're a much better football team when they're a balanced attack and they're able to run the ball and throw play action, as we saw in that first play this series.
Third down and 5 on the 34 of the Giants. Collins trying to get out of danger and firing downfield to Hilliard. And Hilliard slips after making the catch. And a big gain for the Giants of 32 yards to the Cowboy 33. And
I got to tell you, Dick, that's just a great job by Ike Hilliard. First, you got Kerry Collins, who got pressured. He's on the run outside, waiting for somebody to make a move. Ike Hilliard was on a crossing route. You take a look at Ike, you'll see him. He's running right here. He's covered. He turns back, but he takes this angle here in order to give a place for Kerry to throw the football. That's just a real savvy play by a real good football player.
Hilliard missing the first 2 games because of the toe surgery, and on first down, losing yardage is Ron Dane thanks to Greg Ellis's pursuit. And it'll be second down and 11 for the Giants, who are in Cowboy territory. Regulation ended with the Giants trying to win it on a 59-yard field goal attempt by ageless Morton Anderson, and they're trying to get it closer for them this time around. It'll be second and 11.
You'd like to get to you want to get inside the 30. You'd like to get to the 25, 23-yard line. Anything closer, obviously, that's great, but that's where you want to get to kick a field goal. So you're talking here a good 10 yards.
Tiki Barber, the running back, and the receiver, and Barber spinning his way to the 23-yard line. And a fumble on the play, and it's recovered by Barber. He covered up on it, and the Giants now with the ball on the 24 they spotted.
Well, how many times have we seen this? Here's Tiki Barber. He's going to work through the line, and he comes down, checks down. He's working on linebackers. There's Marcus Steele. Dexter Coakley missed the tackles. Once again, Dad Wynn not there. Tiki's got to wrap that ball up in a game like this, but they got the 10 yards that they needed to get. They are now in field goal position.
And they measure. They are short by less than a yard for the first down. Ball is spotted at the 24-yard line of the Cowboys. It'll be third down and less than a yard. Remember, Ron Dane fumbled when the Giants had a first and goal, looking to go ahead in this game, and the Cowboys very nearly got in position themselves to try a field goal.
Well, they had the fumble, as you mentioned, and then like last week they had some problems with exchanges, so they've had some problems in that area already.
Not a sure thing on the handoffs. Third down and 1. Dane, the running back, Dane, the carry, and he is brought down very close by Darren Woodson. You're right. He may have another measurement. Right now, I don't think he has it. I think he is short by a little more than the length of a football, and we're going to measure it. That's just the naked eye looking at the sideline marker. It's Jim Fossil, Dave Campo. Well, he actually lost yardage. He needs more now than he did on 3rd down. It's 4th down, and that's a true yard. And Morton Anderson's coming on to try to end it. Anderson, who was short on the 59-yarder as time ran out in regulation, earlier kicked a 40-yard field goal following Dhani Jones's interception. We have had 31 points scored off of the turnovers today.
Timeout, New York.
The Giants will use a timeout to set it up.
Well, and Morton Anderson.
30-second timeout.
Morton Anderson has not missed this season from this distance. And he has been in this position many, many times over his illustrious career for game winners.
This will be about a 41-yard field goal.
This is a position that Jim Fossil addressed late in the preseason. We had an opportunity to do a Giants preseason game late in the preseason, and one of the things, he brought in a couple of young kickers and wasn't happy with the performance of those guys, and he felt he couldn't let his team go into the season where a game could come down to a field goal in regulation or overtime to win the football game with the uncertainty that he felt right there. And he went out and got Morton Anderson, and this is going to be Morton's first opportunity to show that that decision by Jim Fossil credits them with their first win of the season.
42-yard attempt coming up. Jason Garrett will hold. Giants united on their sideline. This is to win the game for the Giants. And Morton Anderson has been a money kicker, ends the game with a 42-yard field goal. And the Giants stage a tremendous comeback against the Dallas Cowboys, twice coming back from 17-point deficits and defeating the Dallas Cowboys 27-24 with 7:48 remaining in overtime.
This is just a devastating loss for the Dallas Cowboys to have control of this football game the whole way. But credit the New York Giants for hanging in there when things were going wrong in the first half. And that one just sneaks in the left upright. But we talked about him at halftime. We're gonna find out a lot about this New York Giants offense, or the football team. And Troy, what did you think of the performance?
Well, we found out that they got a lot of fight in them, and they're not going to quit, which you wouldn't expect from a team that made up of the champions that they were a year ago. I don't know that ultimately we've found out how good a football team they are this year. I don't know what we were able to learn from either the Dallas Cowboys or the New York Giants today.
The Giants win it, go to 4-4 on the year, and the Cowboys drop to 2-5 on the season. The Giants win in overtime. We'll be back here at Giant Stadium in just a moment.